Hello, Zach McReynolds here of the Cherrie Brown Zach McReynolds team, NextHome Real Estate Rockstars in Santa Clarita. Here today to talk to you about the top 10 mistakes that sellers make. We see a lot of stuff. We're out there. We sold 135 houses last year in 2019, and not all home sales are created equal. I mean, getting top dollar for your home does not happen by chance. It is strategic. We think there's a science to it. May not be rocket science, but it could be the difference between, getting top dollar or getting 10,000 less. And, we've been doing this a while together. Cherrie and I have now been working together about 10 years, and she's been in real estate for 17. We feel like we've perfected a system for selling homes in a quick amount of time for top dollar. So here are some of the mistakes that we see and things that we hear about along the way from sellers that we're interacting with. Sometimes people are coming to us after they already hired another agent, have fired them, and now we're coming in trying to, help them recover. So compiling this list, actually, it was hard to really come up with only 10. I consolidated a few things, and still the list was 11. So you're getting a bonus one. Here's 11 things. Let's start from, they're not really in any particular order. These are just some of the things that we see and hear out there. Number 11, first one is, I'm waiting till spring or summer. I'm waiting for the right time. When is the right time to sell my home? It's really based on the current market. There isn't a best time, right? The best time for now in our market that we're in right now is right now. If you're waiting till spring, a lot of your neighbors, other sellers are thinking about waiting till spring or summer as well. There's going to be more inventory as we get closer to spring and summer because that's what everybody thinks and believes. Right now, there are less than 300 active homes on the market in Santa Clarita. I'm doing this on January 26, 2020. Less than 300 homes on the market. That's crazy. We average 300 homes sales a month in Santa Clarita. So we have less than 1 month of inventory. The buyers are out, rates are low. They're in the threes, mid threes. Go back to the end of 2018, they were 5.25. So because of the low rates, there's a lot of buyers out there. Now is the time. Before 2 or 3 or 4 of your other neighbors come on the market and you're one of many, it's better to be one of few. So that question is basically answered in what's going on with the market today. And who knows where the market could be in 3 or 4 months. Things can change and rather quickly. All right, number 10. Open houses don't work. We hear this all the time. We are a firm believer in open houses. Is a big part of our listing strategy and how we believe that we sell houses faster than the average. The average days on the market in Santa Clarita is just about 40. Our personal average for 2019, 16 days. So we're selling things about 24 days faster than the actual average. And that's because we believe in open houses. Having open houses on the initial weekend, your initial launch, you're never as hot as you are in that first week you're on the market. So especially here in the winter when it's getting dark and around 5 o'clock, a lot of people are not looking for homes after work right now because it's so dark. It's not easy to look at homes in the dark. So you're seeing most of the activity right now on the weekend. We take advantage of that, like to have open houses, get everybody in there at once. It's creating a sense of urgency for the buyers when they see that there's a whole bunch of people in that property potentially wanting the same property that they do. It's creating that sense of urgency for the buyer. So we believe most agents that are telling you that open houses don't work, it is purely out of their, and rightful, who wants to work the weekends. I have kids. I would love to be at home on Saturday and Sunday with my family, but I do recognize that that's probably the 2 busiest days of the week for real estate. So we've committed to that for our business. And again, these aren't in any particular order, but we see this a lot. Let's say you do get a couple of offers or, one offer even, and you've countered them and they came in 20,000 under and you don't even want to counter them at all because you think that they lowballed you. Some people just need to negotiate. You can't let your ego or your emotions get in the way when it comes to negotiations. This is a business transaction for a lot of people. You listed your house for X price and you don't have an offer in 3 weeks and the first offer comes in, the buyer is going to try to take advantage of the fact that you're still on the market. So they're going to try to negotiate. It doesn't mean that they're not going to come up, and it doesn't mean that they're necessarily trying to insult you. That just means that they're trying to get a deal. So they wrote an offer at X. It's all negotiable. We can counter them back. You just got to take yourself out of it. You can't sit there speculating and assuming in a real estate transaction will be the death of you. Once you start thinking like, oh, that buyer's trying to do this or that seller's trying to do that, that's the worst thing for the transaction. You got to keep a level-headed mind, take your ego and your emotions out of it. Number 8, odors. And again, I combined it, I tried to get this down to under 10. So this is kind of like an all-encompassing one, but odor, you leave the house this morning, make the beds. If you cooked this morning, cooked bacon, or you cooked last night, try to air out the house. Try to, put some Glade plugins in, light a Scentsy, do something to try to appeal to the senses of the buyer. And that includes pet stuff. So dog beds, cat scratching posts. You don't want that stuff out, making people focus on those things. You want people walking through your house. And when later, every buyer always goes, oh, the house with, the cute fireplace or the one with the red dining room. You don't want them saying like, oh, the ones with all the dog stuff or all the cat stuff. Don't give people a reason to have a bad impression of your home. Number 7. And just kind of in that train of thought there, just showings in general. We want to make them available. It's really weird if somebody wants to get in today at 3:00 and, always try to ask the buyers to give us a fair amount of warning. But if somebody wants to get in 3 and if we can't get them in, it's weird, but you would think that person will reschedule at some other point. They may not. They might be out looking at 4 or 5 houses, today, and they didn't get into yours. But out of the other 4 that they saw, they really liked one. They decided to write an offer on it, and those people do not come back. So making it available, making it presentable, back to the one we were just talking about, making your bed, putting the dishes away, making sure it smells good. If you have the opportunity, maybe even turn all the lights on, especially again in winter. If we are having a 5:00 showing, make sure all the lights on. Don't let people walk into a dark house that's messy and dirty and smells bad, and being flexible. It might not be the most convenient time for us on our end, but do we really want to turn somebody away? You want to make the house available for showings, obviously. Next, number 6, marketing. This, honestly, if I was putting these in order of importance, this would be towards the top, if not the top. I can't tell you how many times, I'm sure you've seen it too, if you've been looking at stuff on, Zillow, Trulia, wherever you're looking at homes, realtor.com. Some people take horrible, awful, god-awful, crappy pictures. It's amazing. Taking them with their phone. They're putting no effort into the presentation of the home. Marketing matters. I can't say that enough. Marketing matters. The difference between the house that looks good and the house that doesn't look good. What if they're in the same neighborhood, the same price? Guess what? The buyer may ask not to see the ugly house and just go, oh, I want to see this one. Presentation matters. Marketing matters. Getting the pictures right. The first impression of your home is how you look in a little thumbnail on the internet. That's everything. Somebody's phone goes beep, beep, beep. Oh, new house came on that matches my criteria. Open my phone, look at it. Ooh, no, that doesn't look good. I don't want to see that. Over it. It's just like online dating. You would not post a picture of you after you just woke up, haven't brushed your hair, washed your face, girls put on makeup, whatever. You would not post that picture on a dating app and be like, all right, today's my day. I'm feeling it. I'm going to get so many people interested in my profile. It is not a thing. With that being said, having an actual marketing plan matters too. How are people getting eyeballs? How's the agent that you hire getting eyeballs to your property? There should be a specific marketing plan in place, and if there isn't, then good luck. And this goes right back to that. Maybe this one could even been before that, but it's staging the home. That doesn't always necessarily mean, actually, in fact, go back to the last one. Here are some actual pictures that people have put in the MLS of properties for sale. These are actual properties. I mean, come on, this guy will be out of the photo in 2 seconds. Okay, this is fine, but it's not a great day and the sun's behind. You can Photoshop this. A good photographer would know how to clean this up. This is, and I hate to put someone on blast, whoever these are, but like, look at these kitchens. How is that appealing? And not only that, look at this one. This is a nice kitchen taken with somebody's cell phone vertically. You're not even seeing the rest of the kitchen. How is that appealing to somebody, a buyer? This is nighttime. You could tell, there's just not enough light in there. Someone put this in sideways, like, it's crazy to me. It's absolutely just crazy to me. These are real photos people have put on into the MLS saying, hey, I'm selling this home for top dollar in this neighborhood. Come check it out. I don't think people can appreciate, or I think people undervalue the importance of this step. It's like less than 50% of agents are using professional photography. That's insane. That's just absolutely insane. And that being said, okay, so we'll move on to the next one here. Sorry, I'm pretty ADD. That's why we even do these in order like this. So staging. This doesn't always mean bringing furniture into the place, but it's just thinking about, how am I showing this home? This is a property that was on the market for 4 months in a desirable neighborhood and desirable model. 4 months didn't sell. Now, granted, they also started, I believe, the original list price a little too high. But what's the presentation here? And again, I'm not trying to put anyone on blast. Hold on, I'm going to turn this off. But the 4 months didn't sell in a low inventory market where the average days on the market is 40 days. To get to 120 days is pretty crazy. So they fired that agent. They then hired us. This is the same room. I did bring in some furniture in this particular case because, no offense to the seller, the furniture wasn't the most appealing. That green rug, let's get me. And I can't stress that enough. All this is built around, like, it's wrapping your brain around it and going, and we like to go. I have a very, very capable photographer, but I go to all of our photo shoots because that's important to me to get them right and make sure where he's thinking of it in the terms of light and lines and, what a photographer, but I'm going, hey, I represent a lot of buyers. I want to showcase this room in a way that I think would be appealing to a buyer. In that particular case, it was, we got to dress this up. If we had got our hands on that in the beginning, we sold that in the first weekend. After being on the market for 4 months, we sold that in the first weekend simply by making a better presentation, having some marketing, drawing people to the property, and we got an offer in the first weekend. Where was I? What number are we on? Staging. And that goes from everything. Thinking about the front yard, thinking about the backyard. It's dressing up. By the time we get there for photos, all this should have been addressed. What we do as realtors is we meet you at the property, we walk the property, we talk about the things that can be addressed before we get to taking photos. If the yard's a little beat up, let's clean it up. Let's, and we're not talking thousands of dollars. There's little things that you can do to get it ready to be sold. And honestly, on the flip side of that, sometimes we'll meet people and they go, well, we're not ready for a couple months. I'm remodeling the bathrooms. That may not always be in your best interest. Definitely call an agent, have them come over. Let's talk about that. If you're going to go put $12,000 into a bathroom, you may not get that $12,000 back. That money could have been spent better in some other places of the property. And that's what we're here to help you do. Spend the least amount of money to maximize, to get the most amount of profit out of it. You don't always have to go and remodel stuff. You may not get that money back. Okay, moving on. Number 4. This goes right back to getting ready for pictures and the staging. It's decluttering. An interior designer is going to come in. They would tell you have 2, maybe 3 things tops per surface. If you have 45 things on your mantle, clean that up. Well, again, it's all about that picture, right? That's the first impression of your home, and the picture's this big. So having a lot of stuff in the picture is going to look very cluttered. Let's declutter. We offer our clients free moving boxes that we can have delivered to the property. That way you can start decluttering and getting the house ready for its showcase, for pictures, for its premiere to the world, to online, to the internet, to the MLS, to Facebook ads, blah, blah, blah. You want that thing to be good. Okay, moving on. Where are we? Top 3. The 3. This is a big thing too, repairs. Little things that you don't address are just going to be called out during the home inspection anyways. So you might as well address them. Why not? Touch up some of these things before you get to that point. So unfortunately, buyers sometimes overestimate the cost of repairs. A leaky faucet, they're going to want $1,000 credit, from what after the home inspection we call a request for repairs. And, worst case, it needs a new faucet that you could pick up for $100. So a lot of those things, walk through your property or be honest with yourself and with us. And if there's something wrong, let's address it. Hiding things that you've done in the past, and this third part actually goes back to the last thing, is overspending, getting ready, but hiding things is, one of the top ways people end up in lawsuits. You had a leaky roof and you didn't tell anybody and you tried to hide it. And then, 4 weeks into it, we get some rain after the buyer buys the house and a roofer comes out and said, oh yeah, I was here with the last owner 8 months ago and he didn't want to fix it. You don't hide anything. Address them, get the house ready for sale, and let's have a smooth home inspection. Number 2. I would say this is the most important thing. And we see this all the time. We're very fortunate here in Santa Clarita that most of Santa Clarita is in a tract, right? Where what an appraiser does when they evaluate value is they want to see 3 sold properties. If there are 3 model matches, then they're going to want to use those. And oftentimes there are model matches in most of our neighborhoods. So it makes determining value pretty easy. If you have the same model that just sold for, 620, 622, and 624, and let's say none of those have a pool and you don't have a pool either, you can't list for 650. Regardless of how many upgrades you've done, it just isn't realistic that an appraiser is going to find, nearly $30,000 in upgrades in your property. That's just not how the appraiser sees the value. So it does not make sense to list for that price. And sometimes people think like, oh, well, I want to leave a padding for negotiation. Yeah, but if you price it at market value from the beginning, you don't need to leave the padding. The buyers are incredibly savvy today. They can open any app, whatever app that you're looking on, whether it be Zillow or Trulia or realtor.com or any of those sites. They'll show the solds in the neighborhood. So if a buyer looks at your property, as amazing as it is, and goes, wow, that's a great property, I love that property, but wait a minute, one sold for 621, 622, and 623, why the heck are they at 650? They're not going to write you an offer. They're not going to write you a $10,000 offer, a $20,000 offer, or a $30,000. They're just going to let you go, sit, and wait for you to get realistic. They think that you're not realistic, and they're not going to bring you an offer. And this becomes your undoing. Now you get 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks on the market. You start doing price reductions. You end up back down to the 625 you should have been, or depending on your upgrades, whatever. And then somebody's still going to hit you with an under asking offer because now you've been on the market for 50 days. And that looks wrong. That doesn't look right. Why has this been on the market for 50 days? What's wrong with this property? And had you listed for market value, let's say 625 in the beginning, especially in the market that we're in right now with low inventory, you are going to get so many people to the property. Let the marketing work. Let the people come, hopefully get multiple offers. And then if somebody wants to pay $650, they can in a multiple offer situation. They're competing for the property. They know it, and they can go as high as they want. If you got one offer at $650 and the appraisal comes in at $625, you have zero chance of getting that buyer to contribute any of that gap. If the appraisal comes in at $625 and they wrote an offer for $650, your asking price, the buyer is going to say, your fault. You overpriced your house. I gave you what you wanted. It didn't appraise. I'm not giving you anything. But if you priced it at market value at $625, 4 or 5 offers come in, somebody goes $20,000 over, you have more of a chance of getting them to waive the appraisal or paying that gap because they're competing against the property and you listed it for market value. They're choosing to overpay. You didn't tell them they had to overpay. I've seen this happen a million times. I think it's the number one reason that there should not be anything on the market in Santa Clarita over 40 days right now. In a low inventory market where we don't even have 1 month of inventory, if you get to 30 days, something's wrong. You're not priced correctly. There's no way something should make it to a month on the market in a low inventory market when we got buyers out there clamoring for properties. Last week, we listed 5 properties. Every single one of them sold over the weekend with multiple offers. For top dollar, we're not undercutting value. They're all going out at or above market value because we're doing things right. The presentation, the pricing strategy, the pictures, the digital marketing, the Facebook ads, the way that we're driving business to the property. This all works. There's a system in place here and it works perfectly, 100% effective, 60% of the time. Just kidding. Number one. So with all that being said, the worst thing you could do is hire the wrong person. Somebody not doing professional photography, doesn't have a marketing plan, doesn't know how to advise you on the proper price. Sometimes we'll meet people that fired an agent and hired us, and we go, oh my gosh, like this doesn't even make sense. Here are the comps. You should not have been priced here. Well, I didn't know. My agent gave me that price, and I don't know if that's a strategy by agents to just get the business. That's a term in our industry called, buying the listing. You're going to tell somebody like, go back to my 620, 625 scenario. Oh, 650 all day. Did they do it on purpose? Did they know that the last 3 sold 621, 622, 623, and they're just trying to, win your business? Or did they really not understand the comps themselves? Did they not have a marketing plan in place? Did they take crappy pictures? All these things add up. We'll sell a property. For instance, go back to the one that I showed where we redid the living room. That sat on the market for 4 months. That doesn't make sense. And we sold that essentially at the same price that they were on the market for. It was a little less, but unfortunately, if you're on the market for 4 months, when we come back on the market, even with the new stage and everything, you're going to have to drop the price, or buyers are just going to think, what's the difference? You were already on the market for that price. Now you're back on the market. So we end up selling 5,000 less, but you would have thought in 4 months, somebody would have wrote an offer 5,000 under the price that they were at, right? So not all agents are created equal, unfortunately. And investigate who you're talking to. And we recommend talk to multiple agents. There is a difference out there between a top agent and I'm not even somebody new. Somebody new could have a marketing plan, have a game plan, have a strategy, and they're still good. It's just a matter of hiring the person that knows what they're doing. Marketing matters, experience matters, all these things add up. And this will be the difference between getting top dollar and getting thousands of dollars under that. The average closed price to list price ratio in Santa Clarita is 99.1, meaning on average, most houses in Santa Clarita are selling 0.9%, so almost 1% under where they started. So that's the average, obviously, meaning somewhere in the middle, right? So that's almost 1%. So if you got a $600,000 house, that's saying that the average house is selling $6,000 under. Your $600,000 house selling for $594. Our average is 99.9. So we're selling everything at 0.01% under, which is $600,000. So that's basically a $5,000, more than a $5,000 difference. The cost of hiring an agent that doesn't have a good plan in place could be, $5,000 or more, depending on your price point. My name is Zach McReynolds. If you have any questions about anything that I've said in here, here is my information. Cherrie and Zach, NextHome Real Estate Rockstars. Hit me up, call me, text me, message me wherever you're seeing this, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or what have you. I'd be happy to answer any questions or talk about home value in your neighborhood. Thanks for watching my 25-minute video. Have a great day.